Hey guys, it's Doug Trial. Today I want to talk to you about some gear that you need if you're trying cases. This is the kind of stuff that you can take with you to the courthouse and set up your own basically multimedia presentation without having to depend on some company that's going to charge you 400 bucks an hour, or really having to depend on the courthouse itself to have any gear whatsoever. The stuff I'm about to show you, the list of equipment I'm about to tell you, is completely independent from any setup in the courthouse, other than the courthouse has to have some sort of power outlet. You know, if you're trying a case in a courthouse that doesn't have power, then I can't really help you there. But if you're in a courthouse that has a outlet or outlets of power, electricity, then this list is going to be everything you need to try a case in a modern environment. So let's start from the beginning. The first thing you're going to need is something that you can use to very easily present to the jury your content. And for that, we have a simple method, which is just an iPad. And the reason we have an iPad for this is because there is an app called TrialPad, which is pretty user-friendly. It lets you use your multimedia, like load your exhibits, highlight, zoom in, call out. It lets you do a whole bunch of different things to your exhibits basically in real time. So you can control exactly what you show the jury and how you show the jury what you need to show the jury. And so with the iPad, that's kind of the step one on getting this thing set up. And there's really, if you have not tried TrialPad, there's really no other app that's user-friendly and you can have in the palm of your hand like TrialPad. There's other apps out there that you need to load up on a computer or a laptop or something like that. But there's really nothing like TrialPad where you can be cross-examining the witness and really from right there where you're doing your cross-examination, you yourself can click around and highlight documents for the witness and the jury to see in real time. So TrialPad is definitely a critical component of this list. But once you have a trial pad or you have an iPad with TrialPad in it, you still have to have a way of loading the images for the jury so they can see it. Now, obviously, there are courtrooms like down here. The federal courthouse is fully multimedia set up. So you have projectors, you have monitors for the jury and the witness and the judge, and all you have to do is plug into the multimedia system of the courthouse, and they can see everything from your trial pad. But that's not the case in many courthouses. In fact, most courthouses don't have that. So in order for you to be able to make sure that you can present to the jury in any courthouse, you need to get yourself a projector. Now, this right here is the, you can see it. This is the Optoma HD27. It's the one we use here at the firm. We got it a few years ago. We got it back in 2017 or 2018. They don't really make it anymore. Now they have the HD28, which is the 2020 version. It's about the same, except it's a little better. This one is 3200 lumens, which basically means that it's pretty bright. And the reason you care about the lumens is because what you don't want to have to do is anytime you want to present something, whether it be on cross-examination, opening statement, closing, whatever the case may be, you don't want to have to be the guy who's telling or asking the judge to shut off the lights or lower the lights or close the blinds. And what happens is when you have a high amount of lumens, when that number is over 3,000, you're basically in a place where you can play that projector in pretty much a room that's fully lit, even if it's sunlight coming in, and the image will be very, very visible. It'd be very, very good quality as far as brightness goes, and the jury could see it without having to shut off the light or having to turn the blinds on or anything like that. Now, the HD28 version is, I believe, 400 lumens more than the one I have. I think this one's 3200. No, I think this one's 3200. I think the other one's 3600 lumens, and it supports 4K input and all that kind of stuff that, frankly, you don't really need, but the lumens being 3600 is pretty good. This one, which is 3200, is already bright enough to be played in pretty much any lighting condition indoor. I imagine the 3600 one is even more bright, and so even less of a problem playing in a courtroom when you're trying a case. So you have the projector, you have the iPad. You need to link the two together, meaning you got to find a way to get your image from the iPad into the projector. The easiest way to do it is to use the Apple TV. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we've used it in a bunch of trials. And what you can do is you get the Apple TV and you plug the Apple TV into the HDMI port, just like you would be plugging it on your TV. Let's say if you were going to watch the Apple TV, if you're going to stream something like Netflix or something like that on your TV, you'd plug in your Apple TV to your TV through the HDMI. Well, you do the same thing with the projector. You plug in the Apple TV through the HDMI of the projector, and then you connect your iPad to your Apple TV with the share screen feature. So basically, using that protocol, you can show whatever's on your screen to the Apple TV, which is then going to put it through the projector and everybody can see it. If you have TrialPad loaded up, then that works perfectly because the jury's only going to see whatever TrialPad lets the jury see, which is whatever you want the jury to see. So it works pretty flawlessly. We've never had a problem with it, and we've used it in plenty of trials. It's a pretty inexpensive solution. Now, if you don't need or if you don't want to have an iPad as a means of projecting through your projector, if you want to use your laptop, let's say, for example, then you need to get something else. What you need to get is this right here. If it's in focus, it's called the ScreenBeam Mini2. And what it is, I guess I'll show you what it is. It's basically an HDMI stick. What it does is you connect the HDMI stick to the HDMI of the projector, and then the ScreenBeam lets you project your laptop's screen onto it. So just like the Apple TV would be, where basically you could share your iPad screen to the Apple TV and then out through the projector. With this, you could share really any Windows computer's screen through it, and it would project it through the projector. So you don't need an iPad. You just need to get that if you are not using an iPad, and if you are using an iPad, you're going to need to have an Apple TV because that's the protocol that it uses as far as Apple devices. So the other thing you're going to need to get is obviously something that you can use to project the image onto. I don't have it here to show you because it's pretty big, so I have it back in the office. But what you need to get is a screen that lets you project the projector onto, because there's no guarantee that you're going to have a wall or some suitable surface to project the image onto in trial that's close to the jury box. So what we have a portable screen that folds and unfolds. It's meant for if you're doing like outdoor movies or something where you just want to hang out outside and project a movie for people to sit around and watch. It's meant for that, but it works really, really well for trial. You basically, when it folds, it's about, I want to say about 6 feet long and probably about this high, like this tall rather, because it folds into a little package, and then you could just carry it. It's about 15 to 20 pounds. And it's pretty portable when you need to use it, so you can just carry it to the courthouse. It's never been an issue for us. I'm going to put the link for that, and really everything I'm talking about here, I'm going to put the link down in the description so that you know where to get it. But that's definitely a must, because you don't want to have all the gear and then realize that you don't have a way to play it to the jury because there's no surface close enough to actually be able to show it to them. Now, a couple more things that you need, which I don't have here because I have them back at the office. First, you need a power bank. Power bank is basically like a big battery, really, that lets you connect your devices in the event that either you don't have a plug or you're too far from a plug. So let's say you're in a situation where there's only 2 plugs and you have 3 or 4 pieces of equipment you need to plug into, then you need that, right? There are really, really good ones out there. And all of this gear that I'm talking about doesn't cost a lot of money. So I'm not really talking about anything that costs thousands of dollars. There's a lot of good gear out there. I'm going to throw a link down in the description to the one that we used the last time, meaning the newest one that we've used, which was very, very good. I'm going to throw that down in the description. It's got a lot of power, and it really would even power the projector if you wanted it to, although I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend for the projector is for you to get something like this. This is I mean, you can't really see it from the distance that we're in, but this is like a 25, 30 foot cable. And so the reason I have a 25 or 30 foot cable is because you can't control how far from the outlet your projector is going to need to be. What I mean by it, a lot of times the courtrooms are set up in a way where you are sitting somewhere and then the jury box will be 15 feet from there. And then you need to set up your projector next to the jury box or maybe in front of the jury box so you can project right in front of the jury. And so unless you have a really long cable or an extension cord to do that, you're going to be in trouble. So you definitely need that. I'd say don't forget about that. It sounds like a minor issue, but it can make all the difference. And then the last thing that that you need to get, which we're now in transition. We had one before, but that really stopped working great after a while. It wasn't very well built. Is a little self-assembling or disassembling table. It's basically, I would show you the one we got if I hadn't thrown it away, but it's basically a little portable table that you can take with you that folds and unfolds into itself. We had one that we used for years. We don't have it anymore. A buddy of mine bought one himself about a month ago, and I'm going to get that one for the firm. I just hasn't come in yet, but I'm going to list down in the description the one that it is, so you have it. Basically, it's a little table that's made out of aluminum, and the legs fold into the table and unfold, and then you could put it down on the floor basically, and it's a table that you just bring with you. And the reason for that is, again, because a lot of these courthouses don't have a place for you to put your projector. They were not built for multimedia. They don't have really the accommodations for multimedia, and so you're going to need to find a way to put your projector in a place that it wasn't intended to be. For example, often we put the projector right under the jury rail. So you have the rail where the jury sits, and then in front of them, there's that, usually a wooden, barrier is the best way I can describe it. Well, we'll put the projector right in front of that, aiming towards our direction. So aiming away from the jury into the screen. Usually there's nothing there. There are no tables there. There are no places to put anything there. Usually it's just space for people to walk on. So you need to bring a table, or you need to bring something for you to be able to put your projector on. And the table I'm talking about is just the right size. It's basically about the same size as the projector I was showing you earlier. So with that table, you can make sure that you have a surface to put your gear in. And last but not least, you're going to need a case to carry the projector. It's actually pretty small. It's about, I don't know if you can see it, you can carry it in one hand with the projector in it. They're pretty cheap. They're pretty sturdy as well. And basically just carries, this right here would be the projector with the cables inside and the remote, the batteries, all that kind of stuff. You can go ahead and put it all in one case that basically you could carry with one hand. So I'm going to throw the link down in the description for that as well. Now, we didn't talk price. I think at the end of it all, if you buy everything that I'm talking about here, the total price is going to be probably either at $1,000 or a little north of $1,000. I mean, we may be talking 1,100 or something like that if you buy all the gear that I'm talking about here. And if you buy all the gear that I'm talking about here, you're basically set. You're basically going to be able to run your trials with your multimedia without really having to depend on anybody else to do it for you. And you're going to be able to do this in a pretty efficient and streamlined fashion. You could carry all this gear. Pretty much one person could carry all the gear if you wear a backpack and get into the courthouse. If you have multiple people, whatever, then that's even easier. But it's gear that can be done by one person, and it's gear that can be very easily brought into the courthouse and brought out of the courthouse. So anyway, guys, I hope that helps. I hope you find it helpful. I'm going to drop all the links to the items down in the description so you can easily access them. And I'll catch you again next week.